I knew something was wrong when my mother handed my daughter a coloring book. Not just any coloring book. A dollar store coloring book with pages so thin you could see through them. The kind that tears if you press too hard with a crayon. The plastic wrap was already peeling at the corner. My name is Elise. I'm 34, a financial analyst, and a single mother to the most incredible 10-year-old girl in the world. Her name is Cora, and she was sitting cross-legged on my parents' living room floor, watching her cousin Maximus tear through his birthday presents like a tornado with opposable thumbs. "Open it, sweetheart," my mother said, her voice dripping with that saccharine tone she reserves for public displays of grandmotherly affection. Cora looked at me first. She always does that when she's uncertain. I smiled and nodded, even though my jaw was already starting to ache from holding that smile in place for the past hour. She peeled back the wrapper carefully. She's an artist, my daughter. She treats everything like it might be precious. "It's nice," Cora said softly. "Thank you, Grandma." "There's a pack of crayons in the bag too," my mother added, already turning away to watch Maximus, who was currently screaming about the new gaming system he'd just unwrapped. I did the math instantly. Habit of the profession. That gaming system cost at least $1,500, probably closer to $2,000 with all the accessories I could see scattered across the floor. The coloring book cost $1, maybe $2. "Mom, look at this!" Maximus shouted, holding up a controller like he'd just discovered fire. "It's the limited edition one. Dad, can we set it up now?" My sister Jordan laughed, that high-pitched sound she makes when she's performing happiness. "Not until after cake, Max. You still have more presents." More presents. I glanced at the pile beside Cora. One gift bag. That was it. "Elise, could you help me in the kitchen?" my mother asked, not really asking. I stood, smoothing my dress. Of course. The kitchen smelled like vanilla cake and something burning. My mother was pulling appetizers from the oven, her face flushed from the heat or the wine or both. "I'm glad you could make it," she said, arranging crackers on a plate. "I know you're so busy with work." "It's Cora's birthday. I wouldn't miss it." "Well, it's really Maximus's birthday. Cora's just happens to be the same week, so we thought it would be nice to celebrate together," my father finished, appearing in the doorway. He had that look he gets when he's trying to smooth things over before they get rough. "Too late, Dad." I heard Jordan's voice from the living room, talking to her husband, Alan. "She's always so sensitive about these things. It's not like we're playing favorites." My mother lowered her voice. "You know how important this year is for Maximus. Middle school applications, the robotics team, his tutoring." "Right," I said. My voice sounded far away, even to myself. "Boys need more support. Well, they do face different pressures." She wasn't even looking at me. She was watching through the doorway as Maximus opened another box. "A boy's future is more important. That's just reality." Something inside me crystallized. Not broke, crystallized. Like water turning to ice, sharp and clear and cold. I walked back to the living room. Cora was coloring quietly in her dollar store book, using the cheap crayons that were already breaking. Maximus was surrounded by wrapping paper and boxes and gift bags, a small mountain of expensive things. "I'll be right back," I said to Cora. "I need to get something from the car." She nodded, not looking up from her coloring. My hands didn't shake as I opened my trunk. My laptop was there, like always. So was the portable projector I use for client presentations. I'd brought them because I was planning to go into the office after the party. Plans change. I walked back inside, carrying both. My father saw me first. "Elise, what's that for?" "The birthday slideshow," I said calmly. "I made one for the kids." My mother clapped her hands together. "Oh, how lovely! Everyone, Elise made a slideshow." They gathered around as I set up the projector, pointing it at the large white wall above the fireplace. Cora came to stand beside me, slipping her small hand into mine. Is it pictures of me? She whispered. Something like that, baby. I opened my laptop, but I didn't open the photo folder. I opened my banking app, specifically the account I'd set up for Cora when she was born, the college fund I'd been contributing to for 10 years. Ready? Jordan asked, her phone already out to record. Ready? I said. I didn't play the birthday slideshow. I played the truth. The numbers filled the wall in crisp black and white. Cora Swanson Education Fund. Previous balance. 43,147.29 withdrawal. 05 to 14. $38,000 current balance. 5,047.29. The room went silent. Not quiet. Silent. Like someone had hit a mute button on the entire universe. My mother's wine glass slipped from her hand. It hit the hardwood floor and shattered, red liquid spreading across the boards like blood. What is this? Jordan's voice came out strangled. That's Cora's college fund, I said. My voice was steady, calm. I'd practiced this part in the car, or what's left of it. Someone withdrew $38,000 3 days ago. My father stood up so fast his chair scraped against the floor. Elise, this isn't, we can explain. Can you? I looked at him directly, because I'd love to hear the explanation for why my daughter's college fund was emptied the same week Maximus got a $2,000 gaming system. Mom? Cora's voice was small. She was staring at the wall. Is that my college money? The way she said it, like she already knew the answer but was hoping she was wrong, made something crack in my chest. Yes, baby, it was. Alan cleared his throat. Now, Elise, I'm sure there's been some kind of mistake. Maybe a banking error. There's no error. I clicked to the next screen. Transaction details. Authorization signatures. See? Right there. Joint account holder authorization. That's my mother's signature. My mother's face had gone white. You don't understand. We were going to pay it back. When? I asked. Before or after Maximus's private tutoring sessions? The ones that cost $300 an hour? Jordan stepped forward. How dare you come into Mom and Dad's house and what? Tell the truth? I closed my laptop. I'm sorry if facts are inconvenient for you. This is a family matter, my father said. His voice was shaking. We should discuss this privately. No. I picked up Cora's coloring book from the floor, held it up. This is what you gave her, a dollar store coloring book, for her 10th birthday, while you spent her future on his toys. Maximus was crying now, loud hiccuping sobs. Jordan rushed to him, shooting me a look of pure hatred. You're upsetting the children, she hissed. I'm upsetting them? I laughed, and it sounded wrong even to my own ears. That's rich. My mother finally found her voice. We did it for the family. Maximus needs more than my daughter? I unplugged the projector, started wrapping the cord, because that's what you said in the kitchen, that a boy's future is more important. I didn't mean, yes, you did. I packed up my laptop. You meant exactly that. You've always meant that. Cora tugged on my sleeve. Can we go home now? Yes. I took her hand. Get your coat, baby. Elise, please. My father moved toward me. Let's talk about this. We're family. Family. I repeated the word like I was tasting something bitter. Is that what we are? Don't be dramatic, Jordan snapped. She was still holding Maximus, who was wailing into her shoulder. You're ruining his birthday. His birthday? I looked at Cora, who was clutching her cheap coloring book to her chest. Right. His birthday, not hers. They're sharing a party, Alan said weakly. That's what we agreed. I agreed to a joint party, not to funding his childhood while stealing from hers. My mother tried one more time. The money was just sitting there, and you thought I wouldn't notice. I headed for the door. You thought I'd just smile and nod like I always do. Keep playing the good daughter while you rob my child blind. We raised you, my mother said, and there were tears in her eyes now. Real or performed, I couldn't tell anymore. We gave you everything. I stopped at the door. Cora was already outside, waiting by the car. You gave me everything? I turned back. You gave me a lifetime of being second best, of watching you pour love and money into Jordan and now Maximus while I got the scraps, the hand-me-downs, the dollar store coloring books. That's not fair, Jordan said. No, I agreed. It's not. I walked out. Behind me, I could hear my mother sobbing, my father trying to calm everyone down, Maximus still crying about his ruined party. In the car, Cora was quiet. She buckled her seatbelt and stared straight ahead. I'm sorry you had to see that, I said. It's okay. Her voice was tiny. Are we really broke now? No, baby, we're not broke. I started the engine, but we're going to make sure this never happens again. That night, after Cora fell asleep, I sat at my kitchen table with my laptop open. I started pulling files, bank statements, account histories, shared documents from when I'd helped my father organize his finances 3 years ago. I had access to everything, and what I found made the stolen college fund look like pocket change. The numbers told a story my family never wanted me to read. I called Natalie at 6 a.m. She answered on the second ring, her voice thick with sleep. Someone better be dead. Close, I said. Can you come over? I need your eyes on something. 40 minutes later, she was at my kitchen table with coffee and her reading glasses, scrolling through spreadsheets on my laptop. Holy shit, she whispered. Elise, this is systematic. I handed her another printout. Look at the dates. Every time there's a deposit into the family trust, there's a corresponding withdrawal within a week. Natalie traced her finger down the page. All going to the same account? Jordan and Alan's joint checking. I pulled up another file. But it gets better. See these payments to Riverside Preparatory Academy. That's where Maximus goes, right? $12,000 a year, paid directly from the trust fund that was supposed to be split equally between both grandchildren. I clicked to another tab. Private tutoring, music lessons, summer camps, sports equipment, all from the trust. What did Cora get? I laughed, but there was no humor in it. Nothing, not 1 cent. Natalie sat back in her chair. How long has this been going on? Since Maximus was born. 11 years. I did the math out loud. Roughly $15,000 a year, give or take. That's over $160,000. Jesus. And my parents authorized every single transaction. I showed her the signature logs. Both of them. Every time. Natalie was quiet for a long moment, studying the screens. She worked in forensic accounting. If anyone could spot financial manipulation, it was her. This is fraud, she said finally. Elise, this is actual fraud. That trust was designated for both children equally. I know. You could press charges. I know. She looked at me over her glasses. But that's not what you're planning, is it? Before I could answer, my phone rang. Jordan's name flashed on the screen. I put it on speaker. What? I said. We need to talk. Jordan's voice was tight. Face to face. I don't think we have anything to say to each other. Mom is devastated. Dad hasn't slept. You humiliated them in front of the whole family. I showed them a bank statement. You ambushed us. Her voice rose. You planned that whole thing, didn't you? You brought that projector on purpose. Yes. The admission seemed to throw her. She was quiet for a beat. Why? She asked finally. Why would you do that to your own family? Meet me at Riverside Coffee in an hour, I said. Come alone. I hung up before she could respond. Natalie raised her eyebrows. You sure about this? No, but I need to know if she knew about all of it. And if she did? I didn't answer. Jordan was already there when I arrived, sitting in a corner booth with her arms crossed. She looked tired. Good. I slid into the seat across from her without ordering anything. Talk, I said. You first. What do you want? The truth. Did you know they were taking money from Cora's fund? She looked away. It wasn't like that. That's not an answer. Mom said, she stopped, started again. She said the money wasn't being used anyway, that you had plenty saved, that Maximus needed it more right now. So, yes, you knew. I knew about some of it. Her voice was defensive now. Not all of it. Not the college fund until after. After they'd already taken it. They were going to pay it back. With what money, Jordan? They're retired. Dad's pension barely covers their mortgage. She bit her lip. We would have helped. You can't even afford your own mortgage. I pulled out a printout, slid it across the table. That's why they gave you $15,000 for your down payment. From the trust, Cora's trust. Her face went pale as she read. How did you... I have access to everything. I helped Dad set up his accounts, remember? He never removed my permissions. You're spying on us? I'm protecting my daughter. I leaned forward. Did you know about the tutoring? The private school payments? All of it coming from money that was supposed to be split equally? She was quiet. Jordan, did you know? Yes. The word came out barely above a whisper. Yes, I knew. Something in my chest went cold and hard. Why? She looked up at me, and there were tears in her eyes. Because you always acted like you were better than the rest of us. With your fancy job and your independence. You didn't need help. You never needed anything from anyone. So you stole from my daughter. We didn't steal. Yes, you did. I stood up. And now you're going to help me prove it. What? You're going to tell me everything, every transaction, every conversation, every time Mom and Dad decided Maximus was worth more than Cora. I can't do that. Then I go to the police and the IRS and every single person in our extended family. I pulled out my phone. Your choice. She stared at me for a long moment. Then she started talking. By the time I left that coffee shop, I had enough evidence to bury them all. Natalie was right about one thing. It wasn't just money they'd stolen from me. Jacqueline Morris lived in a small cottage on the edge of town, the kind of place my mother would call quaint, in that tone that really meant poor. I hadn't seen my godmother in 15 years, not since the family stopped inviting her to gatherings after she called my mother out at Thanksgiving for something I was too young to remember clearly. She opened the door before I could knock. Elise. She looked older, grayer, but her eyes were the same sharp green I remembered. I wondered when you'd find your way here. How did you... Your mother called me yesterday, crying about what an ungrateful daughter you are. She stepped aside. Come in, I'll make tea. Her living room was cluttered but clean, filled with books and plants and artwork that actually looked lived with, not displayed. She handed me a mug and sat across from me in a worn armchair. So, she said, you finally figured it out. Figured what out? That Linda never wanted you. The words hit like a slap. I set down my tea before I could drop it. She told you that? She told everyone that, just not to your face. Jacqueline took a sip from her mug. You were the wrong baby, Elise. She wanted a boy. She'd already picked out the name. Richard Jr. I don't understand. Linda had a miscarriage before Jordan. A boy. She was devastated. Jacqueline's voice was matter-of-fact, like she was reciting history. When she got pregnant with you, she convinced herself it was her second chance. Another son. She bought Blue everything, told everyone she was having a boy. My hands were shaking. I pressed them against my knees. Then you came out a girl, and she couldn't hide her disappointment. I was there in the hospital. I saw her face when they handed you to her. Jacqueline leaned forward. She looked at you like you'd personally betrayed her. That's not... My mother loves me. Does she? Jacqueline's voice was gentle but firm. Or does she love the version of you that asks for nothing and causes no trouble? I thought about the dance recitals my mother missed because she had to take Jordan shopping. The science fair where I won first place and she left early because Jordan had a cold. The college acceptance letters she barely glanced at. "Tell me about the scholarship," I said quietly. Jacqueline's expression shifted. "So you do remember?" "Pieces. I remember being excited about something. Then I remember my mother crying. Then nothing." "You got a full ride to state. Academic scholarship, everything paid for." She set down her mug. "Jordan didn't get in anywhere good. Linda made you turn down the scholarship so Jordan could go to state instead. Said it was only fair since Jordan was older." The memory came back in fragments. My mother's tears, my father's silence, Jordan's smug smile. "I went to community college," I said, "for 2 years. Then you transferred and paid your own way." Jacqueline's voice was proud. "You did it all yourself, no help from them." "Why didn't you tell me?" "I tried. That's why Linda cut me out. I told you at your high school graduation that you deserved better, and your mother overheard. Called me a poison in the family. Said I was trying to turn you against her." She smiled sadly. "Maybe I was, but someone needed to." My phone buzzed, a text from my father. "Please come over. We need to talk. Just you and me." I showed it to Jacqueline. "Are you going?" "Should I?" "That depends." "Are you looking for an apology or ammunition?" "I don't know anymore." She stood, walked to a bookshelf, and pulled out a photo album. She flipped through pages until she found what she was looking for. "This is you at 8 years old. Your birthday party." In the photo, I was wearing a dress that was clearly too big, safety pinned at the back. My cake was a sheet cake from the grocery store. Jordan stood beside me in a brand new outfit, holding a doll that probably cost more than my entire party. "Now look at this one, Jordan's 8th birthday." The difference was staggering. Jordan's party had a bounce house, a magician, matching party favors. Her dress fit perfectly. Her cake was custom made. "It was always like this," Jacqueline said. "Every birthday, every holiday, every milestone. You got the leftovers of their love." I closed the album. "I need to go." "To your father's?" "Yes." She walked me to the door. "Elise, whatever you're planning, make sure it's worth it. Revenge feels good in the moment, but it leaves a taste." "What kind of taste?" "Like ashes." She touched my shoulder. "But sometimes ashes are all that's left to swallow." My father answered the door in his bathrobe. He looked like he'd aged 10 years in 3 days. "Thank you for coming," he said. "Your mother's at Jordan's. It's just us." We sat in his study, the same room where he used to help me with homework, back when I still believed he saw me. "I'm sorry," he said, "for all of it. The money, the favoritism, everything. Are you sorry you did it or sorry I found out?" He flinched. "That's not fair." "None of this is fair, Dad. That's the point. We were going to pay it back." "Stop." I held up my hand. "Stop lying. You can't pay it back. You don't have the money." He was quiet. I pulled out another printout. "This is from the trust, the one Grandma set up before she died, the one that was supposed to be for both grandchildren equally. Elise, Cora got nothing. Maximus got everything, and you both signed off on it, every single time. Your mother said, I don't care what she said." I stood up. "I care what you did. You're my father. You were supposed to protect me, protect Cora." "I know." His voice broke. "I know, and I failed. But please don't destroy your mother over this. She's not well. The stress." "The stress of what? Getting caught?" He looked up at me with red-rimmed eyes. "Of losing you." "She lost me a long time ago," I said. "She just didn't notice." I left him there, sitting in his study, surrounded by the life he'd built on lies. In my car, I opened my laptop one more time, and I found it. The final piece, a letter scanned and saved in my father's email archives. From my mother to my father, dated 2 weeks after I was born. I can't bond with her. I've tried. Every time I look at her, I see what I lost, what I'll never have. Maybe if we have another baby, maybe if the next one is a boy, I can forgive her for not being him. I read it 3 times. Then I forwarded it to myself, and I started planning the dinner party. The invitation was simple, elegant even. Join us for a family dinner to celebrate new beginnings. Let's put the past behind us and move forward together. I sent it to everyone. My parents, Jordan and Alan, my aunts and uncles, cousins I hadn't spoken to in years, and Jacqueline, who called me the moment she received hers. "What are you doing?" she asked. "Making amends," I said sweetly. "Isn't that what family does?" "Elise, will you come?" She was quiet for a moment. "Yes, someone needs to be there to pick up the pieces." "There won't be any pieces left to pick up." I rented a private room at Marcello's, the Italian restaurant my mother loved, the one she always chose for special occasions. I paid for everything up front, the food, the wine, the AV equipment I had them install. My mother called the day before. "This is very generous of you," she said. Her voice was cautious, hopeful. "I'm glad you're ready to forgive." "I'm ready for something," I said. Cora helped me get ready the night of the dinner. She zipped up my black dress and watched me apply lipstick in the mirror. "Are you nervous?" she asked. "No, baby. Are you okay staying with Natalie tonight?" "Yeah, she said we can watch movies and eat popcorn." She paused. "Is this about the money?" "It's about a lot of things." "Are you going to yell at Grandma again?" I turned to face her. "Would that bother you?" She thought about it seriously, the way she always did. "No, she was mean to you, and to me." She was. Natalie says sometimes people need to face consequences. She stumbled a little over the word. "Is that what tonight is?" "Yes." "Okay," she hugged me. "I love you, Mom." "I love you too, baby, more than anything." They were all there when I arrived. My parents sat at the head of the table, dressed like they were attending a wedding. Jordan and Alan looked uncomfortable. My Aunt Patricia was already on her second glass of wine. Uncle James was checking his phone. Jacqueline sat at the far end, watching everything with those sharp green eyes. "Elise," my mother stood, arms outstretched. "Thank you so much for organizing this. It's exactly what we needed." I let her hug me. She smelled like her expensive perfume in desperation. "Let's eat first," I said. "Then we can talk." Dinner was perfect. The food was excellent. The wine flowed freely, and conversations stayed light. My mother told stories about when Jordan and I were young, carefully editing out anything that might be uncomfortable. Jordan laughed at all the right moments. My father stayed mostly quiet, but he was drinking more than usual. By dessert, everyone was relaxed, happy even. That's when I stood up. "I want to make a toast," I said, tapping my glass. Everyone raised their glasses. "To family," I said. "To the people who shape us, who teach us what love looks like, what loyalty means." I smiled. "And to legacies, the things we pass down to our children." "Here, here," Uncle James said. I walked to the front of the room where the screen was set up. I made a little presentation, a trip down memory lane. My mother clapped. "Oh, how wonderful." The first slide was a photo of me and Jordan as children. We were maybe 6 and 8, standing in front of a Christmas tree. "Look how cute we were," Jordan said. The next slide showed the gifts under that tree. I'd labeled them. Jordan, 12 gifts. Elise, 4 gifts. The room got quieter. Next slide. Birthday parties. Side-by-side comparisons. Jordan's elaborate celebrations versus my simple sheet cakes. Elise, my father said, "What is this?" "History, Dad, just history." More slides, school events, dance recitals my mother missed, science fairs she left early, Jordan's events where she stayed for every moment. My mother's face was white. "This isn't... You're taking things out of context." "Am I?" I clicked to the next slide. Bank statements, the trust fund, every withdrawal highlighted and dated. "Oh my God," Aunt Patricia whispered. "This is a family trust," I said, my voice steady. Set up by my grandmother to be split equally between her two grandchildren, Cora and Maximus. I clicked through transaction after transaction: private school tuition, tutoring, summer camps, music lessons, sports equipment, all for Maximus, all from money that was supposed to be shared equally. "We were going to," my mother started. "Pay it back? With what?" I clicked to the next slide. "This is Cora's college fund, $38,000, withdrawn 3 days before Maximus's birthday. Used to buy him presents." Uncle James set down his wine glass. "Linda, is this true?" "It's more complicated than..." "It's not complicated," I said. "It's theft." Jordan stood up. "You said this was about moving forward. You lied." I learned from the best. I clicked to the next slide. The letter. My mother's letter to my father, written when I was 2 weeks old. I can't bond with her. Every time I look at her, I see what I lost, what I'll never have. My mother made a sound like she'd been punched. "Mom?" Jordan's voice was small. "What is that?" "That's what your mother wrote about me," I said. "Because I wasn't the son she wanted. Because I had the audacity to be born the wrong gender." "That was private," my mother whispered. "That was between your father and me." "Nothing in this family has ever been private. You made sure of that." I clicked to the final slide. But here's the thing about secrets. Eventually, they come out. Jacqueline spoke for the first time. "Tell them about the scholarship, Linda." My mother's head snapped toward her. "You have no right..." "Tell them," Jacqueline repeated. "Tell them what you made Elise give up so Jordan could have it." The room was completely silent now. "What scholarship?" Aunt Patricia asked. I looked at my mother. "Do you want to tell them, or should I?" She didn't answer. She was crying, mascara running down her face. So I told them everything, and I watched my family break apart in real time. The fallout was immediate, as Aunt Patricia left the restaurant first, pulling Uncle James with her. "I can't believe you did this to your own granddaughter," she said to my mother. "Your own flesh and blood." My mother reached for her. "Patricia, please, don't." Patricia's voice was ice. "Don't you dare. I gave money to that trust fund, for both children, not just the boy." Uncle James stopped at my chair. "Do you have documentation of everything?" "Yes." "Send it to me. I want my lawyer to look at it." He squeezed my shoulder. "I'm sorry, Elise. We should have paid more attention." They weren't the only ones. My cousin Rachel, who I hadn't spoken to in 5 years, came over before she left. "I always wondered why you never came to family events anymore," she said quietly. "Now I know. I'm sorry." One by one they filed out, some angry, some shocked, some avoiding eye contact entirely. Jordan sat frozen in her chair, staring at the blank screen. Alan had his hand on her back, but she wasn't responding. "Jordan," I said. She looked up at me with red eyes. "You destroyed us." "No, I exposed you. There's a difference. We're family. Family doesn't steal from children." I picked up my purse. "Family doesn't play favorites. Family doesn't make one child feel worthless so another can feel special." "I didn't know about the letter," she whispered. "I swear I didn't know she felt that way about you." "But you knew about the money. You knew about the scholarship. You knew, and you let it happen." I looked at Alan. "Both of you." Alan couldn't meet my eyes. We thought your parents knew best." They knew what benefited you. That's not the same thing. My father finally spoke. He'd been silent through the entire presentation, drinking steadily. What do you want, Elise? Money? An apology? What will make this right? Nothing will make this right. I turned to face him. But I'm going to make sure it doesn't happen to anyone else. What does that mean? My mother asked. Her voice was hoarse from crying. It means I filed a complaint with the trust administrator and with the IRS, and I've contacted a lawyer about pursuing civil charges for the misappropriation of funds. My father's glass slipped from his hand. You're suing us? I'm protecting my daughter, something you never did for me. We're your parents, my mother said. We gave you life, and you spent the rest of mine making me wish you hadn't. The words came out colder than I intended, but I didn't take them back. Jacqueline stood. I think it's time to go, Elise. Wait! Jordan grabbed my arm. Please, Maximus doesn't deserve this. He's just a kid. He didn't do anything wrong. Neither did Cora, but that didn't stop any of you. What about Mom and Dad? Where are they supposed to go? I pulled my arm free. That's not my problem anymore. 3 days later, I met with my lawyer. Her name was Susan, and she was exactly the kind of person you wanted in your corner. Sharp, ruthless, and completely unimpressed by sob stories. This is solid, she said, flipping through the documentation. Really solid. The trust misappropriation alone is enough for a civil suit. Add in the college fund theft and you've got a strong case. How strong? Strong enough that they'll want to settle. Probably quickly. She looked up at me. The question is, what do you want out of this? Money? Restitution? Public acknowledgement? I want Cora's fund restored, with interest, and I want them to never be able to do this to anyone else. We can make that happen. Susan made notes on her legal pad. There's one more thing you should know. The house. What about it? It's in your name. Has been for 6 years. I stared at her. What? Your father transferred the deed to you for tax purposes. It's a common strategy for people trying to avoid estate taxes, but it means legally you own the house. They live there. Yes, as your tenants, technically, though I doubt they realize that. My phone rang. My father's number. I let it go to voicemail. It rang again immediately. You should probably take that, Susan said. I answered. What? Elise. My father's voice was panicked. We got a letter from the trust administrator. They're freezing all accounts pending an investigation. We can't access any of our funds. I know. You did this? Yes. How are we supposed to live? The mortgage, the bills. You should have thought of that before you stole from your granddaughter. Please. He was crying now. Please, we'll pay it back, all of it. Just stop this. You can't pay it back. You don't have the money. You never did. Then what do you want from us? I looked at Susan. She nodded. I want the house, I said. Silence on the other end. The house. It's in my name anyway. Has been for 6 years. You never told me that, did you? That was for tax purposes. I don't care what it was for. I'm selling it. You have 30 days to move out. Elise, no, please. We have nowhere to go. You have Jordan. I'm sure she'll take you in. After all, you've given her everything else. You can't do this. I can. And I am. I hung up. Susan was watching me carefully. Are you sure about this? Yes. It's going to get ugly. It's already ugly. I'm just making it official. That night, Cora asked me if we were bad people. Why would you think that? I asked. Because you're hurting Grandma and Grandpa, and Mom always says hurting people is wrong. I sat down beside her on her bed. You're right. Hurting people is wrong. But sometimes people hurt us first. And sometimes we have to protect ourselves from them, even if they're family. Is that what you're doing? Protecting us? Yes, baby. That's exactly what I'm doing." She was quiet for a moment. Then she showed me a drawing she'd been working on. Two figures standing in front of a burning house. One tall, one small, both holding hands. "That's us," she said, "after the fire." I looked at my daughter and saw myself at her age, trying to make sense of a family that never made sense. "Yeah," I said, "that's us." I hung the drawing on the refrigerator, and the next morning I listed the house for sale. The house sold in 2 weeks. Cash offer, 10,000 over asking. My parents moved into a 2-bedroom apartment on the south side of town. The kind of place they would have called unfortunate when they drove past it before. I waited a month before I visited, long enough for them to settle into their new reality, long enough for the anger to calcify into something permanent. Jordan's car was in the parking lot when I arrived. Of course it was. My mother answered the door. She looked smaller somehow, like she'd physically shrunk. Her hair was grayer. She wasn't wearing makeup. "Elise." Her voice was flat. "I didn't think you'd come. Can I come in?" She stepped aside without a word. The apartment was cramped. Boxes still lined the walls. The furniture from their old house looked ridiculous here. Too large, too ornate, too much for the small space. My father sat in his recliner, staring at a television that wasn't on. Jordan stood in the kitchen doorway, arms crossed. "What do you want?" Jordan asked. "To talk." "Haven't you done enough?" I ignored her and looked at my parents. "I came to give you a chance to explain, to tell me why." My mother laughed, but it was a broken sound. "Why? You already know why. You laid it all out at that dinner. You humiliated us in front of everyone." "I told the truth. You destroyed us." She sat down heavily on the couch. "The trust administrator is pressing charges. Richard might go to jail. Our friends won't return our calls. Your Aunt Patricia is demanding we pay back every cent we ever took from that fund." "Good." "Good?" My father's voice was raw. "You think this is good? You think we deserve this?" "Yes." He stood up, and for a moment I thought he might hit me, but he just stood there, shaking. "I'm your father," he said. "I changed your diapers. I taught you to ride a bike. I paid for your education. You paid for 2 years of community college after you made me give up a full scholarship so Jordan could go to state instead." I pulled out a folder from my bag. "I brought something for you." I handed it to my mother. She opened it slowly. Inside were printed copies of every transaction, every withdrawal, every payment to Maximus's school, his tutors, his camps, every dollar taken from Cora's trust, every lie documented and highlighted. "This is what you did," I said. "This is who you are." My mother's hands were shaking. "We were going to pay it back." "Stop saying that." The words exploded out of me. "Stop lying. You were never going to pay it back. You don't have the money. You never did. You stole from my daughter because you thought I wouldn't notice, because you thought I'd just accept it like I've accepted everything else my entire life. We gave you everything. You gave me nothing," I was shouting now. "You gave me hand-me-downs and dollar store gifts and the scraps of your attention when Jordan didn't need it. You made me feel worthless every single day of my childhood, and then you tried to do the same thing to my daughter." "That's not true," my mother whispered. I pulled out the letter, the one she'd written when I was 2 weeks old. I'd brought a copy. "Read it," I said, holding it out to Jordan. "Read what your mother wrote about me." Jordan took it with shaking hands. Her eyes moved across the page. The color drained from her face. "Mom?" Her voice was small. "Is this real?" My mother didn't answer. "Is it real?" Jordan's voice was louder now. "I was postpartum," my mother said. "I wasn't in my right mind." "You were disappointed," I said. "Because I wasn't a boy. Because I wasn't what you wanted, and you never forgave me for it. That's not—" "Yes, it is." I looked at my father. "And you let her." You watched her treat me like I was less than Jordan my entire life, and you did nothing." He sat back down. "I tried to protect you." "By stealing from my daughter? That's not protection, Dad. That's betrayal." The room was silent except for the sound of Jordan crying. "I admired you," my father said finally. His voice was barely audible. "You were so strong, so independent. You didn't need us like Jordan did. You didn't need anyone." "I was a child," I said. "I needed you. I needed my parents to love me as much as they loved my sister. I needed to feel like I mattered." "You did matter." "No, I didn't. Not to you, not the way Jordan did, not the way Maximus does." I picked up my bag. "But Cora matters to me, and I will burn down everything you built before I let you make her feel the way you made me feel." "So that's it?" my mother asked. "You're just going to leave us here, in this place? You have each other. You have Jordan. That's more than you ever gave me." I walked to the door. My hand was on the knob when my father spoke again. "I'm sorry," he said, "for all of it. I'm sorry." I turned back. He was crying now, tears running down his face. "I know you are," I said. "But sorry doesn't give Cora back her college fund. Sorry doesn't give me back my childhood. Sorry doesn't undo 34 years of being second best." "What do you want from us?" my mother asked. "Nothing. I don't want anything from you anymore." I opened the door. "Elise," Jordan said. "Wait." I stopped but didn't turn around. "I'm sorry too, for all of it. For not standing up for you. For taking what should have been yours. For everything." "I know. Can you forgive us?" I looked back at her, at all of them. My family, the people who were supposed to love me unconditionally. "No," I said. "I can't." I walked out and didn't look back. In my car, I sat for a long moment, hands on the steering wheel. Then I opened my phone and deleted the last family photo from my camera roll, the one from 5 Christmases ago, when we all still pretended everything was fine. I watched it disappear, and I felt nothing. The settlement came through on a Tuesday. Susan called me at work with the news. They agreed to everything. Full restitution of Cora's college fund, plus interest, payment for emotional damages, and a legally binding agreement that they'll have no access to any accounts in Cora's name, now or in the future. How much? $82,000. The house sale covered most of it. The rest is coming from your parents' retirement accounts. I sat back in my chair. They agreed to that? They didn't have much choice. The alternative was criminal charges and a very public trial. She paused. "There's one more thing. Your mother wants to see Cora. She's asking for supervised visitation." "No." "Elise, no, she doesn't get to traumatize my daughter and then ask for access. That door is closed." "Okay, I'll let them know." After I hung up, I sat at my desk for a long time, staring at the numbers on my screen. $82,000. It should have felt like victory. Instead, it just felt empty. Natalie knocked on my office door. "Hey, you okay?" "It's done. The settlement went through." She came in and closed the door behind her. "That's good news, right?" "Yeah, it's good." "You don't sound like it's good." I turned to face her. "I destroyed my family, Nat. I took everything from them. And I don't feel anything about it. Maybe that's okay." "Is it?" She sat down across from me. "They stole from your daughter. They made you feel worthless your entire life. They chose favoritism over fairness and greed over love. You didn't destroy them, Eli. They destroyed themselves. You just held up the mirror. Cora asked me last night if we were going to be alone forever." "What did you tell her?" I didn't know what to say. Natalie reached across the desk and took my hand. "You're not alone. You have me. You have Jacqueline. You have people who actually love you, not the idea of you. It's not the same as family." "No," she agreed. It's better. Because we chose you, and you chose us. That weekend, Cora and I moved into our new condo. It was smaller than the house we'd been renting, but it was ours. Bright and clean and full of possibility. Jacqueline came over to help us unpack. She brought plants and homemade cookies and stories about my grandmother that my mother had never told me. She would have been proud of you, Jacqueline said, arranging succulents on the windowsill. Your grandmother, she never liked how Linda treated you. Why didn't she do something? She tried, but Linda was always good at playing the victim, made it seem like your grandmother was being cruel, playing favorites. Jacqueline smiled sadly. That's why she set up the trust the way she did. Equal shares for both grandchildren. She was trying to protect you, even after she was gone. It didn't work, no, but you did. She touched my shoulder. You protected Cora. That's what matters. Cora came running in from her new bedroom. Mom, come look. I followed her down the hall. She'd hung up the painting she'd made, the one with two figures standing in front of burning trees. I finished it, she said proudly. I looked closer. She'd added something new. Behind the figures, in the space where the trees had burned, she'd painted wildflowers. Dozens of them in every color. It's beautiful, baby. Natalie said that's what happens after fires. The flowers grow back even stronger. She looked up at me. Is that true? Yeah, that's true. She hugged me tight. I'm glad we left, Mom. I'm glad it's just us now. Me too. On Monday morning, I started the blog. It was simple at first, just a post about financial abuse in families, how to spot it, how to document it, how to protect yourself and your children. I didn't use my real name. I didn't need to. The response was immediate. Comments flooded in from people who'd experienced the same thing. Stolen inheritances, emptied college funds, favoritism disguised as family dynamics. Thank you for sharing this, one comment read. I thought I was crazy. I thought I was the only one. You're not crazy, I wrote back. And you're not alone. Natalie read the blog over lunch. This is good, Eli. Really good. You should expand it. Maybe write a guide or start a support group. Maybe. I'm serious. You have something here. You turned your pain into purpose. I looked at my phone. Another notification. Another person reaching out, asking for help. Yeah, I said. Maybe I did. That evening, Cora and I sat on our new balcony, watching the sunset. She was sketching in a new notebook, not the dollar store coloring book, but a real artist's sketch pad I'd bought her with the settlement money. Mom? She asked, not looking up from her drawing. Yeah, baby? Do you think Grandma and Grandpa miss us? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Probably, I said, but missing someone and loving them right are two different things. Do you miss them? I miss the idea of them. The grandparents I wanted them to be. But the people they actually were? No, I don't miss that. She nodded, still drawing. That makes sense. Does it bother you? That we don't see them anymore? She looked up at me. No, I like it better now. It feels safer. Good. That's what I wanted. She went back to her drawing. I watched her work. This beautiful, talented, loved child who would never have to beg for scraps of affection, who would never wonder if she was enough. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Please, just let me talk to Cora. 5 minutes. I'm begging you. My mother. I blocked the number. Cora held up her sketchbook. What do you think? She'd drawn our new condo, surrounded by wildflowers. In the windows, 2 figures, both smiling. It's perfect, I said. I'm going to call it After the Fire. I pulled her close. That's a good name. We sat there as the sun set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink and gold. Behind us, our new home, our new life, our new beginning. They had planted poison trees, expecting me to live in their shade forever. Instead, I cut them down, and in the ashes, Cora and I planted wildflowers. They're already starting to bloom,